Alrighty, I am back. My name is Charlotte. You are watching The Ugly Atheist, and I was gone the past couple weeks. The first week I was gone, on 2 weeks ago, it was because I was driving home on the 101 freeway in Los Angeles, and there was some kind of anti-ICE protest going on. And the LAPD, in all of their wisdom, decided to stop traffic and close the freeway so that the protesters can roam freely. To me, that seems backwards. It seems that they should have, the LAPD should have rerouted the protests to side streets or something so that you don't close an entire freeway. And even worse, they had us exiting on 4th Street, but then they blocked 4th Street as well. So I was heading northwest, I guess, on the 101. 4th Street exit was blocked off also. So all the cars were being funneled off there, and we stuck there for like an hour or so. And people were getting out of their cars, walking around. Yay, LAPD. Anyway, that kept me from recording a video. And then last weekend, I was helping my mom move into her new house. So that was exhausting, and I'm still sore from that because we did more of that today, or this weekend, rather. So anyway, I'm back. I'm going to go over as the title suggests, this was an article on, let me pull it up here so I don't get the name wrong. This was, where is it? I think it's this one here. So christianpost.com, they posted an article called 7 Honest Questions for Atheists. I'm an atheist. I appreciate honest questions. So let's see what they say here. The article starts off, if you consider yourself an atheist today, okay, or if you consider yourself an atheist in the past, okay, I'd love to ask you some honest questions. It says, but I do not ask these questions to win a debate or to be antagonistic or to buttress my own beliefs. Well, there's clearly a reason that you're asking these, and they probably are to buttress your own beliefs. So I think that already he's not being completely honest, but I'll read on. It says, I ask these questions so I can better understand your mindset as an atheist. Yeah, but you're not just doing it to better understand. You have an agenda, and you want to do something with that information. You want it to buttress your own belief system, and you want it to. Your goal is to use the information to create better argumentation for your side, because you believe your side is true. So I think he's already being disingenuous out of the gate. But I won't hold that against him. I think all of us have an agenda in one way or another. So his is just bent towards Christianity. We'll get into it. Here's question number 1. Would you say that you are or were an atheist based primarily on intellectual study or based on experience? Or did you never believe in God at all? I did believe in God when I was growing up. I grew up Catholic, and then in my 20s, I became a Protestant. And I think I really did believe, because I didn't really know too much about Christianity, even though I went to the CCD classes as a child for a little bit. I kind of understood what they were saying, but I didn't really look into it with a lot of depth. So it was just kind of a mystery to me. I just thought, okay, well, this is what we do as Christians. And then when I became, when I was a Catholic anyway, it was much more ritualistic, much more ritual based and ceremonial. But then when I became a Protestant, I began to seriously look into scripture and the arguments for Christianity, and they made sense to me at the time because had not yet been exposed to the counter arguments. When I lost my faith, it was uh, when I was trying to become an apologist. I wanted to be an apologist for Christ, and I wanted to discuss the reasons for my faith, and I wanted to try to persuade others on an intellectual level why Christianity is true. So it was in that pursuit that I happened upon, I came across arguments that what I was believing probably was not actually true. And so I had that crossroads where I and I think I'd been at that crossroads a couple times maybe earlier, but I had always chosen to stick with the faith. But then enough evidence had amassed to where I couldn't ignore it anymore. And I think I was already convinced before I made the decision, convinced intellectually that there couldn't possibly be any angels, demons, or gods, or devils, or anything like that. And of course, these things are not a knowable proposition. You can't know for certain, just like you can't possibly know for certain that the Easter Bunny isn't real. You can suspect he's not real. You can have lots of good evidence that he's not real, but it's not the kind of claim that can be completely falsified. Somebody can always say, well, like if I say, I can't see the Easter Bunny, where is he? Oh, he's in a different dimension. Okay, what do you do with that? Okay, so how do you know he's in a different dimension? What's your evidence for him being in a different dimension? Well, because you can't see him. Okay, so hopefully that answers the first question we have. It says one of the options is based on experience. Probably, I guess, because the longer you live and the more people you talk to, and the more you understand how humans work, how humans follow a predictable path of behavior and thought, and you start to, and also understanding the history of religion, you can see a clear thread of human invention in all of these religions. So I guess in my experience in that sense did have uh, lead me towards atheism. Question number 2. We'll move right along. He has an explanation for. Oh, he's rephrasing question 1 here. I'll put a link to this article in the description below so you can read it yourself in more detail. Question 2. Would you say that even as an atheist, you still have a sense of purpose and destiny in your life, a feeling that you are put here for a reason, that you have a mission to accomplish? Or is it primarily people of faith who feel this, since we are simply the products of an unguided, random evolutionary process? No, I think it's a very human thought process and behavior to believe in something larger than yourself and to have that be your guiding purpose, whether it's a social justice goal or, um, you know, everybody has their passion. That when I went to Saddleback Church, they would describe it as your shape, and shape was an acronym um, for all of your spiritual gifts and your experiences and all of your talents, and what that shapes you to go into ministry towards. And I think we all have that shape, and we all have a calling in the poetic sense to do something with our lives that will outlast us, and that is larger than ourselves, and that will help people. Um, and it's all geared towards helping humanity, and in whatever condition you find it. um, but I must say that when I was a Christian, there was a much more literal calling, because you're doing the will of God. So, and the calling is to make disciples of every nation. So that became my all-consuming passion, was to, in any possible way I could, to bring Christ into a conversation, Sure, people would raise an eyebrow at me, but trained myself to try to not care about that and not to be self-conscious about it, but just to think, okay, I'm doing God's will. If I feel strange about people's reactions to it, that is just the Holy Spirit telling me that I'm betraying the flesh. And so I would just focus on that mission, and I must say it was fun. It was fun thinking you're doing the will of the creator of the universe. That's quite a wonderful thing to believe and to work towards. I think there's no higher calling. But as an atheist, when you realize, okay, there is no God, there's nothing out there. I mean, so that has diminished my sense of purpose. At least it did for a short time. And it's, I think, I don't know. And I mentioned this in an earlier episode where I think as an atheist, I want to give a lot of credit to Christians and Christianity, because they're the ones who minister to the sick and downtrodden and hurting. It's their calling to try to be the hands and voice and love of God in the world that compels them to go into the dregs of society to try to bring light into it. And I don't have that compulsion anymore as a non-Christian. So I feel like as an atheist, I still want to support Christians who do those kinds of things and those kinds of ministries, because they do make a huge difference in the world, and they do bring healing and joy to humanity. And I would want to support that for sure. And let's move on to question 3. I don't know if I answered fully that one. Let me see. Yeah, I think I answered that. Okay, so 3, question number 3. Would you say that you are 100% sure there is no such thing as God? By God, I mean an eternal, all-powerful, all-knowing being. That's interesting. He left out all loving. Or would you say that for all practical purposes, you have concluded that this God does not exist? Yeah, that's kind of the definition of an atheist, is that you have come to the conclusion that any God, does not exist. Although it is impossible to prove such a negative with absolute certainty. Yeah, I was mentioning this before, just like you can't prove that the Easter Bunny is not real. I mean, you can you can have evidence that he's not real, and in your mind, you can obviously conclude that it's not real. Same thing with Zeus, same thing with 100 other gods. And I just do that with the Christian God as well. I have I've concluded in my mind that there's no Zeus, there's no Poseidon, there's no Easter Bunny, there's no leprechauns, there's no angels, devils, demons, gods, or any of that stuff. Can it be proven? As I mentioned earlier, no, it's not a falsifiable claim, so you can't prove something that doesn't have a way to prove it. Um, Hopefully, I can get through all these. There's a total of 7 questions. Question number 4, maybe I'll stop with question number 4 and then we can do the others next week. Question number 4, do you believe that science can provide answers for many of the remaining mysteries of the universe, including how the universe began, including where matter came from and where the Big Bang derived its energy, the origin of life, and DNA coding? Absolutely, absolutely. Science it's not a perfect tool that humans have, but it's the best tool that we have for understanding the mysteries of the universe. And there's always going to be questions about how things work, and that's why science is ongoing. Science has taken us from the Stone Age to the age of computers, whether that be a good or bad thing. It's helped us to leave the planet as a species. We've gone to the moon. We're um, planned or poised to visit Mars and build colonies there. We have incredible advances in medicine with stem cell therapy. I mean, all of this is because of science. So um, I'm not sure that. I mean, science has a great track record of solving mysteries. Religion, Christianity, Islam, other religions do not have such a track record. In fact, we call a period uh, during the Middle Ages, we call it the Dark Ages for a reason, because we were not engaged in the scientific method or theory or even scientific thinking back then. We were kept in fear and in the dark by the Catholic Church for the most part. I'm glad they changed their ways, and the way the church is now is actually pretty cool, in my opinion. Let's see. So when I look back at these questions, I'll do the rest of them next week. I think 5, 6, and 7 we'll do next week. When I look at these questions, I know he starts off saying, wait, who is the author of this? Michael Brown, co-op. Oops, sorry, I can't read that. Oh, op-ed contributor. So he starts off the article saying this is just questions to help his understanding, but obviously he has an agenda. Nobody asks such specific questions just to gain an understanding and then go, oh, neat, okay, I understand now. I'm gonna go make a sandwich. There's obviously he's gonna use the information for something. And it's an article, so I don't know if he's inviting actual answers at the bottom of this, like leave comments or anything. I didn't go that far to see, but yeah, I don't know if he's ever happens across this video, he'll at least have this atheist answers. So yeah, okay. So Michael Brown is the host of the nationally syndicated Line of Fire radio program. So he's got a radio program. That's kind of cool. All right. So anyway, that wraps up this episode. My name is Charlotte. You're watching The Ugly Atheist. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. And I hope to see you next week. I will see you next week. And hope you have a great week. Bye.